I'll start by saying welcome, Mick. Thank you very, very much for being here as part of our Western Sydney University Alumni Couch. We are super excited to chat to you today.
I'm the CEO of Wheelchair Sports, New South Wales ACT. So we're the biggest provider of disability sport in New South Wales and the ACT, and we run 7 sports, including the big wheelchair sports that you may or may not be familiar with, but things like wheelchair basketball, wheelchair rugby and tennis, wheelchair track and road, and a couple of smaller sports as well. It's a good question because my career makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And I don't mind that. You know, I suppose for the first period of my career, I was determined to make my CV make sense. And then I've become comfortable with the fact that it doesn't make any sense, but perhaps that's a strength. So to step back, I'm a Westie. I grew up in Dundas, out near Parramatta, back in the day when Parramatta was a good football team. So it's been a long time between drinks for us, unfortunately. So I grew up in the West. Our family's business was in the West out at Blacktown. Dad was a Holden dealer. And I love being a Westie. I'm very proud to be from the Western suburbs. And so I was thrilled then to be able to go to Western Sydney University, and I studied at the Westmead campus. So my degree was in human resource management and industrial relations. And I got a great deal out of that. Although I've never necessarily worked in that field, it's an excellent basis and has been a wonderful basis throughout my career. So straight out of university, I got involved in some sales roles and progressed through to become a salesman, and also then added marketing to my bow. So through FMCG marketing, I spent time at some of the biggest consumer brands in the world, Coca-Cola, Sara Lee and Canon, some wonderful companies, great training. But my family, as I mentioned earlier, were always entrepreneurial by spirit. And I was the black sheep who went and studied in different things, and they were, you know, wonderful talkers and car salespeople and all the rest of it. And I thought to myself, you know, I don't know whether I've ever really extended myself and tried to see what I can do on small budgets and with not enough people and not enough resources. So I moved from there into the not-for-profit sector, and I've been in the not-for-profit sector for the last 10 years. Yeah, it's a good question, and I think I would break it down in 2 parts. So certainly my time at Western Sydney University in terms of the curriculum within human resources and industrial relations, I mean, that's a good basis for any career where you're managing people and working with teams. So there's certainly the curriculum side of study, and I would recommend Western Sydney University to anyone based on the curriculum. But much more than that as well is perhaps what I just referred to. University for me is as valuable in teaching you to think, because I got all of that additional benefit. I'd made some wonderful friends, we did some terrific projects together, but it taught me how to think. And to this day, I hang on to some of those wonderful principles. I suppose from my point of view, I would reflect and say, the first one I would say is question everything. And that's the wonderful part about university. And I was encouraged as a student at Western Sydney University to question everything, question lectures, question each other, question your family and your friends, because it's a very special and important time to do that. The only other thing I would say is I think what is really valuable is having flexibility and a toolkit the older you get. So I didn't specialise, although I envy those people who do. So if you know exactly what you want to do at 17, 18, 19, and you follow that thread, I'm thrilled for you. It just didn't happen to be my path. So I may perhaps only sort of direct my message to those that feel like perhaps they haven't got an idea of what they'd like to do. But what I want to say to those people and, you know, those students is just keep building that toolkit, and you never know when it's going to come in handy, because I lamented for a long time that I wasn't a specialist, but now I understand as the CEO that I have a number of strings to my bow. I think that has some value. Yes, in terms of Wheelchair Sports New South Wales, just Google us or go to wsnsw.org.au. Follow us on all the socials. We love people to come and have an experience with us. So come and volunteer at an event or get involved. We've got very big plans to grow our community, and that includes people with disabilities and people without disabilities. So anyone out there who's interested to do something that can genuinely change your life, we welcome them at Wheelchair Sports New South Wales ACT.